Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the whole elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yahshua to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Da. The Spirit told me, listen to this Matt Walsh guy. And I've only listened to him in short, maybe 2 times, 3 times before I actually listened to this whole. He's got an 18-minute video. I kind of want to let it all play, and then precept the lies that he's spewing. This dude is absolutely set up, but he is your textbook Edomite, with the accusations, with his inability to admit fault, the deception and darkness that he is in. You know, they exalt you guys. These guys are the ones that exalt themselves above the knowledge of power, the knowledge of God. They really think that they are God. That laws, that whenever they are challenged, or when somebody finally retaliates back to their wickedness, that in itself is some form of transgression. I'm gonna let what he's gonna say. I'm gonna play what he's gonna say, and I'm gonna precept it. About halfway through, he made a statement. God, man, I just got so mad. But the only way we can handle these people, remember, according to what Scripture says, Esau is the reincarnation of Cain. And Cain was cast out of the Garden of Eden for murdering his brother Abel. And Cain cried about the judgment he received and would receive from those around him for what he did. And then the Most High put a mark on Cain, not because the Most High is reactionary, because the Most High has already planned everything from the end to the beginning. And the mark of Cain was a type. It was a twofold mark. It was when he would come back in the reincarnation as Esau, it would be a race of people without melanin in their skin on a planet that is solar based with the sun, and every other nation has some level of melanin in their skin. The Edomites would not have melanin in their skin as a marker that they are the wicked nation. And the mark of Cain is also a temporary type of exemption from judgment, not meaning the person is what's the word? Just okay, like the American police officer. What are they have qualified immunity. That's a good way of looking at the mark of Cain. They get to act criminal with qualified immunity. Who qualifies their immunity? Rome, the dragon, Esau, Britain, I guess. However you trace the beginning of America and the power given to America, which is the revised Roman Empire, that the dragon gave the beast his power. You know what I'm saying? So that's what backs it's the Edomite rulership, that they get to act wickedly, and then they gaslight the world by saying they are the righteous, and those who resist it or disagree with it are the wicked, like as if they are God, and you're transgressing the laws of God by doing that shit. And how you deal as a Hebrew Israelite in the truth, as a member of the northern and southern kingdom, the Latinos, the Native Americans, that's the northern kingdom, Ephraim, and the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, your blacks in America, your Jamaicans, your West Indians, stuff like that. How, as the 2 olive trees that stand before the Most High, right, and speak, how they kill. The word kill meaning judge. It's not murder. Murder is a type of murder is unlawful killing. It's a killing that's not backed by the law of Moses. You just acted in your flesh and you ended someone's life. But within the law of Moses, within the laws that were given to the Israelites, there is a type of judgment that ends in death for stuff like a woman committing adultery on her husband, a man committing adultery with another man's wife, sodomites, sodomy, somebody in the land saying, hey, let's go worship another god, witchcraft. Those are all types of transgressions that are worthy to be have death imposed on them. You stone those people, you kill them, and that's not considered murder, and that's judgment. So when in this way, must they be killed? Must they be killed? That's what this is talking about. That's what this is talking about. Okay, in Revelation 11, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this way be killed. Go back one. These are the two olive trees. Okay, hold on. And I will give power. This is Revelation 11:3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses. Who are the two witnesses? The Hebrew Israelites that are waking up in this truth. That span from the Native American Indians, the Latinos, to the blacks. And why are there two witnesses? Why are there two kingdoms? Because the kingdom was split when King Solomon transgressed. That was the judgment. A house divided cannot stand. In Ezekiel, the prophet Ezekiel 36 and 37 explains the coming together again. When the Most High begins to restore us completely, he begins to bring us back together again in his truth, the northern and southern kingdom. And we are oppressed together here in Mystery Babylon, and Mystery Babylon is America. Saying all that, this is Revelations 11:3. And I will give my power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. That goes into your slavery. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth, the Most High. And if any man will hurt them, who's the man? It is Esau and the rulerships of the heathen nations mentioned in Psalms 83, the confederacy of nations who are underneath the tabernacles of Edom, the so-called white man. And their agreement, their tumult, their agreement to keep our nationality a secret and to say someone else is us. That's the controversy of Zion. That is hurt. Framing mischief by law. That is hurt. Calling us 3/5 of a human. That is hurt. Writing the 13th Amendment to attack us, to oppress us, to claim they set us free from slavery. But if we commit a crime, and they're all the judges, and they own all the prisons, and they are the police. The police started in America as a slave patrol. So right there, they're accusing you of not wanting to be a slave, and somehow that's criminal. But they're never wrong. This is the man that if they will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth. What is this fire? It is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the correct doctrine, the correct way to interpret the Word of God. And Renaissance Western Christianity does not speak the correct doctrine of the Bible because it never mentions fucking Esau. You cannot go online and find Billy Graham or Oral Roberts ever speaking incorrectness about Esau Edom. You can't find any so-called white pastor teaching the world about Esau Edom, Mount Seir, Idumea. So Renaissance Western Christianity is a false doctrine because all of prophecy points at Esau Edom's destruction and the hatred the Most High has for Esau and how Esau hates his brother Jacob. It never mentions this ongoing violent quarrel that takes place over the ages between the Hebrew Israelites and the fucking Edomites. No one even knows that Hebrew Israelites and Edomites are tied together in prophecy. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. What does this mean? We begin to speak at Esau according to his true identity, right? And according to what the prophecies say. We don't take matters into our own hands. There will be some Jakes that do that, and that will be directed by the Most High. There are spirits created for vengeance, appeasing the wrath of him who sent them. That's in the scriptures, man. And then if we do see Jakes respond to the Edomites in a physical, violent manner, that's the application of precepts you apply. That's what because when it comes all down to it, the Most High is in control of this movie. He is the director. He's the producer, the director, everything. He's the executive producer, all of it. He is the sovereign power who reigns in the kingdom of men. When we hear the Edomites speaking, everything is about them and their system. They never mention the Most High. They never mention prophecy. All they do is talk about themselves. They are at the center of the universe. They have exalted themselves above or to be like the Most High, like it says in Isaiah 14. So this is how we know that they are the Lucifer that is speaking about. Oh, Lucifer, how art thou fallen? It's only mentioned one time, that name. That's talking about the so-called white men. Specifically, the upper echelon rulership of the Edomites, but those that they hire to be on television, to be in the media, to cast enchantments and lies, and to spread doctrine. And that's what this piece of shit is right here. This fucking Matt Walsh guy.
Decades of justifying and excusing criminality have led us to a point where people who commit blatant first-degree murder are celebrated. Around 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, a man named Rodney Hinton went to his lawyer's office in Ohio and watched body camera footage of his son's death. And in particular, the footage shows Hinton's 18-year-old son, Ryan, emerging from a stolen vehicle while carrying a handgun.
The stolen vehicle, the father knows, and the son knew, was his car, that he was behind one month payment. So it wasn't a stolen vehicle. It was a vehicle they were financing, that they were within the grace period to pay a payment that he had missed one payment. And rather than the car being repoed, the financing company reported it stolen, and that's how the police officers came to the vehicle, already pumped up, ready to go. And the car that the boy was sitting in, the young man was sitting in, was his. So he wasn't running because he thought he was stealing a car. He was running because of the way the police were coming at them. This is what this fucker's leaving out.
At one point, Ryan drops the gun and then picks it up.
And now people are saying the gun was a cell phone. Everybody's looking at the camera on the internet. They're saying, no, that's not a gun. And he didn't once face the police officer. He's running away from the police officer. Within 6 seconds of the police officer getting out of the car, the police officer fires like 4 to 5 or 6 shots, all hitting the boy in the back. That's what the father saw. The way this Edomite is speaking, he's speaking as if he saw his son with a gun in a car he stole from some random place, and then pointed the gun at the officer, and then that's why the officer shot. That's what the Edomites are telling the world. That's what this fucker Matt Walsh is. Also, this was just a day ago when he put this up. This is what he's doing, dude. This is the same piece of shit that said we spread the gospel around the world. And what do we learn about the Renaissance Western Christianity? That it's a false gospel. It never mentions Esau, Edom. So when he's bragging about colonization and talking about if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't know white Jesus. Well, Christianity is a false gospel because it doesn't mention prophecy. It's actually an abomination, man. It's blasphemy because it denies the true name of the Most High. If you look at the definition of blasphemy, it goes into disrespect on the name. And the name they taught the world, the name of Yahweh, I believe I heard Elder Malcolm just today say, blasphemy. 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 Look at this. Impious or profane speaking of God or sacred things. So sacred things are sacred to the Hebrew Israelites because the Most High gave the laws, statutes, and commandments to the Hebrew Israelites. He calls the Hebrew Israelites by his name. Well, what's the name of Yahweh? Yahweh. What does the white man say Yahweh's name is? Jehovah. That is blasphemy. What is the name of Yahweh Shai? Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai's name has his father's name in his name. He has my name in his name. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. There's no name of Yahweh in Jesus. There's no name of Yahweh in Jehovah. This is what the white man, this is what the Edomites spread all over the earth. This is the blasphemy they are specifically guilty of. Okay? Impious or profane speaking of God or sacred things. Blasphemy. Impious speech. Slander. What's the slander? That they are the Hebrew Israelites and we aren't, but they call themselves Israelis. That Christianity are the new Israel. That the Most High is a white man. That his son is a white man. Because when you go online and you type in God, what do you see? A picture of an Edomite man. There's 8 billion people on the earth. The majority of them have melanin in their skin. Edomites only make up, so-called white people only make up about 7 to 8% of the human population. And you're telling me that God looks like them? This is what they spread all over the earth from the position of their rulership, fulfilling the prophecy mentioned in Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and he covers the face of the judges. If not him, then who? Then who is it? It's in the scriptures, you guys. Look, the second element. The first element is to uncertain. Hold on. So you see it, right? Look. The Old Testament usage. The word applied to more specific crimes against the reverence of Jehovah. In the very definition of the word blasphemy, they're blaspheming. His name is Yahweh, not Jehovah, as ruler of the Jews. And it's not the Jews, it's the 12 tribes of Israel. The word Jews only applies to the southern kingdom, the split, the one witness. There's 2 witnesses, okay? There's 2 witnesses mentioned here. One is the southern kingdom, the other is the northern kingdom. And it was only the southern kingdom that was called Jews, short for Jew, or Judah, which is really pronounced Yahweh. You see how when it starts to all unravel, it goes back to these pieces of shit right here, and they're still doing the same thing.
Soon afterward, he's shot and killed by a police officer. None of these facts are in dispute. The video makes it all very clear.
Yes, they are in dispute, and he's fucking lying, but this is what Esau does from the media. This is all they can do. God, bro, it's mind-blowing.
Watch.
He's gonna do it! He's gonna go! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky.
See, it all begins with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood. So they got all the facts straight, except for they left out a car he was financing that he was a month behind on. If they would have just put that one part in what that lady was saying, and then you see these cops running up on him, you're now going to already be questioning, wait a minute. He was in his car that he was a month behind on. No one's going to hear stolen vehicle because every fucking buddy since COVID understands that this country has been fucking systematically being fallen apart. Half the country isn't paying their fucking house note. Half the country isn't paying any of their bills because of what the fuck's been going on. This dude's barely into the first month of not paying his car note on a vehicle he fucking financed. But they're saying it's stolen. So now when you hear it's stolen and you see him running, now your adrenaline, your subconscious mind is going, and you're not critically thinking about how quickly the cops are already shooting the guy, because now you've heard them say, well, if he stole the car, he probably does have a gun. He didn't fucking steal the car. He didn't have a gun. He didn't face the cops. He was running, and they shot him 4 to 5, 6 times in his back. And Mount Walsh is still 10 toes down, still saying this, because without this lie, without the narrative that the Jake was a fucking criminal, stealing someone's property, and on top of that had a gun, and then defiantly was waving the gun around, aiming it at the police. You cannot look at what the fuck this cop's doing and justify it. You got to have all those other elements active.
GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thigi explains what happened next.
All 4 individuals get out and start running.
On your right.
Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal.
They didn't see it. They heard. Now we're going by ear. Now Esau is a fucking expert at listening, so which goes away against this whole system of eyewitness. Were you an eyewitness? No, I was an ear witness. I heard everything. Look at this, man. Look, you got to you clear away the smoke, you guys. This fucking bitch on the TV. A woman's not supposed to be an authority. I got a fucking female chief of police, dude. You can't find that nowhere in the law of scripture. See, but Esau, this is Esau. He does everything contrary to the scriptures, yet he says he's the chosen man of God. She's talking about they heard the metal. How do you know it wasn't a cell phone? How the fuck do you fucking overexcited motherfuckers not know it was a cell phone?
From the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpster.
Now, the reason the Hinton family was watching this footage in an attorney's office.
Listen to what he's going to do right here. He's going to now accuse the father by saying the father saw everything the Edomite chief of police saw, which means he knows his son stole a car when he was financing it. You got to understand this. This is now they're attacking the father. And why are they doing this? Because they've been doing this since slavery. They attacked the father and son on the earth, just like they attacked the father and son in heaven. If they're going to change Yahweh's name, and they're going to change Yahweh Shai's name, what did Yahweh Shai say? If they hate you, know that they hated me. If they receive you, they receive me, and they receive him who sent me. You see how it connects, man? Fuck.
Offices that, of course, they were contemplating a lawsuit against the city for wrongful death. That was certainly what their attorney was thinking about. In fact, even after viewing this footage, the family's lawyer, who incidentally works for the Cochran firm, as in the late Johnny Cochran's firm, maintained that they had a case. And here's what the family's lawyer said as a way of arguing that the police officers were somehow responsible in this scenario. Quote, being in a stolen car, having a firearm, firearms, we're in Ohio, you know, so you can open carry in Ohio. That's not a death penalty, close quote. Now, admittedly, it's not quite as catchy as if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, but it's still a pretty remarkable line of argument from the Cochran firm, all things considered. After watching the footage of Ryan Hinton exiting a stolen car with a handgun, then dropping the handgun and picking it up as police chased him, and then turning towards the officers, the conclusion from these lawyers is that Hinton was murdered simply for open carrying a firearm. He got the death penalty for doing nothing wrong whatsoever. Even though his gun wasn't holstered and even though he was waving it around.
Did you guys see him wave anything around? Listen to this fucking Matt Walsh, dude. This piece of shit is on the internet. 218,000 views. He just keeps adding to the fucking story. No, he will never say any precepts. He will not go into the scriptures. Why? Because for one, they can't. Two, that's not what they're about. This is all about them. This is Isaiah 14. I will exalt myself above the throne of God. I will be like them. I will exalt myself above the stars of heaven. Stars of man, I'm butchering it. Let's get it. Fuck that. Look at this shit. This is them, you guys. Isaiah 14. Go down to 12, I believe. How art thou? This is verse 12 down. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? It's talking about the rulership. son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakens the nations? Is not their military and predominantly every nation? Doesn't the CIA, doesn't the FBI go into other nations? And if the leader doesn't agree to their policy, to write policy, so they can go in there and set up a business to extract all the fucking resources out of the country, if the world leader doesn't say yes, they get assassinated, and then they set up a puppet leader to do that very thing. Have they not done this all over the fucking world? That's what it's talking about. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. It's talking about the Israelites. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Talking about America. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is what he's doing.
Even though his gun wasn't holstered, and even though he was waving it around while committing a felony.
So he committed a felony because he was late on a payment, or did he actively go into someone's property and steal their car? See, they're not being clear with the delivery. And all these fucking Edomites that love, see, these are the children of darkness, man. They are deceived and being deceived. This is how they operate. They can only operate like this, man.
And even though all of this is recorded, we're supposed to conclude that Ryan Hinton was open carrying, and that's why he was shot. Now, this is a level of shamelessness that...
And this goes into the accuser of the brethren. See, this is Esau can only accuse. He's got this. That's a form of his law. That's his tactics. Accuser. Accuser. There it is. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength. See, salvation is connected to deliverance from the rulership and the oppression of another nation. It's not what Western Christianity said it was, that if you give your life to white Jesus and you die, you won't go to hell off planet somewhere in another dimension, burning forever. That's not what salvation is. Salvation is being delivered from the fact that someone like Matt Walsh can sit on the internet running his fucking mouth against us when he's a dog. He's a fucking Edomite. He has no standard, no law. But he's in his rulership right now, and that's where his power comes from. You see the difference? They're not righteous people. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of the brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And Western Renaissance Christianity told us that this is the prince demon spirit on the left-hand side of Yahweh, not the so-called white men. See, everything Christianity speaks of hides who Esau Edom is on the earth. And they put all the blame only on Satan, the actual prince demon, but they separate the functionality or the functioning, the physical movements of the so-called white man on the earth, and they say all that shit that's happening at the direct result of the so-called white man on the earth, that's only because of the devil somewhere around fighting the Most High. That's how they say that. So Esau on the earth never gets held accountable for the shit he does, and people are led to believe that somehow the left-hand Elohim, Satan, the left-hand power on the left-hand side of Yahweh, he's actively somehow rebelling against the Most High Yahweh, which then what? Accuses Yahweh of not being sovereign and in control because he can't control Satan. It's all bullshit, man. It's all fucking bullshit.
That's why he was shot. Now, this is a level of shamelessness that in another era would lead to a flurry of lawyer jokes on late night television, but it's not a joke to millions of people at the moment. It certainly wasn't a joke to Rodney Hinton, the father of the teenager who was killed. Just hours after he viewed the body camera footage of his son's death, Rodney Hinton got in his car with the intent of executing a police officer. He saw it as an act of revenge, and ultimately he found a target. He ran over A recently retired sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic outside the commencement ceremony at the University of Cincinnati, the slain officer, a Hamilton County deputy named Larry Henderson, had never met the killer before. They'd never exchanged words. Watch.
Recently retired sheriff's deputy is dead after police say a driver intentionally hit him. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Trisha Mackey.
How do we answer this? Because Esau can't and he won't, even if he knows how to. Why? Because he's a fucking liar. Let's get Amos real quick. I got to bring it back to the sovereignty of God. If evil happens in a city, I have done it. If evil happens in a city, shall a trumpet be blown in a city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahweh have not done it? Right there, the Most High just said, I did it. Now what? What you going to do? But see, Esau's not going to do that. Why? Because Esau wants to be God. Esau wants to be God. Right here. Right? Hold on. Let me get back to fucking Salakia. He wants to be the Most High. So because he's the Most High, right? He's got to be the one. You committed a sin against me. That's all you hear Matt Walsh and Edomites, white people, on the planet saying. They never cry out to the Most High for salvation. Have you ever seen the white man as a whole cry out to the Most High for protection against another race of people? Exactly. He's never done it yet. You see the Hebrew Israelites doing it all the time in Scripture. But you don't see the white man doing it. Why? Because he's his own God. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nation? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of power. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's these motherfuckers, man.
Yes, tonight I'm Trisha Mackey.
And I'm Rob Williams. Cincinnati police say the driver is the father of an 18-year-old who was shot and killed by...
When you see things like this happen, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh hath not done it? What's the other precept? There be spirits for vengeance. It's I believe it's in Ecclesiasticus. There be spirits for vengeance. Bam. Look at this. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction. And we are in that time. America is on its way down. Mystery Babylon. There is no throne. This is how you speak fire. This is how he must be killed. We must judge Cain. We must judge Esau according to prophecy. According to what the precepts say. That's how you balance everything out. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Is not the Most High mad with the wicked every day? Yes, he is. Who is the wicked? Let me see. I'm going to say, God is mad at the wicked every day. Every day. Let me see. Bam. For God judgeth the righteous. And how's he judging us? We're underneath we're on the bottom in the rulership of Esau right now. We're being judged. We're being punished. They act like we got it made living in America with these motherfuckers on top. Hell fucking no. The whole earth groans when the wicked are in rulership. God judges the righteous. And God is angry with the wicked every day. There it goes. And then who shall rouse up? Who shall rouse up Judah? And that's what's happening, man. That is what's happening. Judah. That's what's happening. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. What does Shiloh mean? He's who it is, or it is his. Talking about Yahushai. Yahushai comes out of Judah. Judah is the head tribe of Israel. This is why they hate us. We got to understand these things, you guys. Until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. When Yahushua comes to get both northern and southern kingdom, the elect.
Police yesterday.
Cincinnati police say the father of the 18-year-old who was shot and killed by Cincinnati police on Thursday was driving the car.
So my anger with this is how Esau lies about everything and makes everything about himself. There will be no mention of Yahweh or Yahushai out of their mouths, because Isaiah 14 tells you how they were created to think. This is in their DNA. They are programmed to be this level of a type of virus. This is what they fucking are, man. Everything in Esau's mind is about him. Wherever the fuck he goes, it's all about him. This is how Yahweh created this fucker, man. This is what he is. And according to the scriptures, we have to identify him. I'm gonna end it there. I had to report something on this, man, but I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash, and double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone of whom I learned from. Shalom. Bidding the hopefully elect spirits of Yahshua to the marriage supper of the Lamb, Salakia, who is Yahushai. This is Brother Adah. Shalom.